Today, I am so excited to be sharing the top fall 2020 fashion trends. But I'm not just sharing all of the trends, okay? I have looked through and I looked through the runways. I looked to see what was out there, what we're going to see in the stores. And I curated this selection based on the trends that you're actually going to want to wear. So, normally, fall is a really exciting time. I know that I usually cannot wait to get back into real clothes, especially after the heat and the humidity in New York City. Sometimes getting dressed gets to be a bit of a struggle to try to stay cool and still look good. So, normally, I really look forward to cozying up with some layers and getting into the fall clothes. But as everybody is aware, this season is not the usual, right? We are under a completely different set of circumstances. So that is why I selected the fashion trends based on pieces, trends, items, things, ideas that you will actually want to wear, okay? That make sense for what is going on in the current circumstances, all right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some pictures from the fall, the autumn winter 2020 collection. So we're going to look at some of what the designers were sending down the runway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it actually looks because you probably already have these trends in your closet right now. Okay. So the reason I know that is because I'm going to share what I had in my closet and how I put these trends to work right away. Okay. Because it's so obvious that normally the trends, they just keep recycling over and over again. So things that you bought last year or a few years ago, there's a good chance that they're still going to be in now. All right. So you don't necessarily have to run out and go buy all new items because you probably already have stuff in your closet right now. So that's why I'm going to share what I saw on the runways, what the designers sent down the runways, and then I'm going to show you how I pulled those trends out of my closet and I made them work. And I may or may not actually be wearing some of that right now. Okay. So you're just going to have to wait until we get to it. Another thing I want to point out is you will probably also be able to find one garment that checks the boxes for multiple trends. All right. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that a little bit further because I want to get started. I want to start sharing my screen and I want to start showing you the top 5 trends for fall 2020 that you'll actually want to wear this season. All right. So great. I see Jennifer's here and I see that Donna is here. Hello. Hello. Thanks so much for joining me live. So let me share the screen with you and let us get started with the trend number 1. And that is the statement collar. Okay. So statement collars, you are going to be seeing a lot of those this season. All right. So here's what we saw specifically going down the runway. We saw looks from Bottega Veneta. We saw looks from Victoria Beckham. And we saw looks from Chloe. Okay. So here's why I love this trend. Okay. Again, because you probably already have something like this in your closet right now. Okay. Remember how I said the trends tend to recycle over and over again? So what you need is a statement collar. So that could be something with a bold color. It could be something with an interesting shape. Okay. Maybe there is some texture in your statement collar, like some lace, right? Maybe there's some nice details, okay? And here's the thing, even if you don't have a statement collar, you can buy removable statement collars in the store right now. So this could be a really fun way to freshen up your old sweaters just by adding in a removable collar. So it's kind of like that idea of a dickie. Have you heard of that? It's something you snap in and it gives the it looks like a collar, except it's not the whole shirt. So those are definitely going to be out and about in the stores right now because the statement collar trend is going to be very big. Now, another thing that's interesting is if you have been noticing in the group this week, I have been sharing fashion by the decades, which has been a lot of fun. And what I have noticed is that the trends that I've been sharing, you know, from the 20s, from the 60s, from the previous decades, the 50s, they always come back. So if you look at the images here that I've got on the screen, if you look at the one on the very left, that reminds me of something from Saturday Night Fever. And then the one on the right could be something from Chloe that we would see in the 70s, right? So like I said, they always come back. So you may want to hold on to some of your favorite items because they'll probably be back in style again soon. All right. So now I'm going to show you what I did and how I was able to get the statement collar. And so here it is. I've got a statement collar on my shirt here. Okay. So this is actually a dress of mine, right? So this is actually a whole really nice, pretty dress. But in order to do the statement collar, I went for something in it's pink. Okay, it's a bright pink color, and so I wanted to create a strong contrast. So that's what I did. So I put it against the black sweatshirt, and now this is how the statement collar works. All right. So think about what you have at home. What collars do you have in bold colors or textures or patterns, anything like that? And then you could put it and wear it underneath something as a contrast, or you could just wear that on its own. All right. So let us move on to our next trend. Okay. And the next trend that we are going to look at right now is the Victorian neckline. All right, so let me get this all over here so you can see everything really clear. All right, so now it is the Victorian neckline. Okay, so that is another it's a neckline. So again, these are trends that are going to work really well for you if you are working at home, or even if you are back at work or out and about in the world. Either way, these are trends that are going to get you noticed and they're going to help you stand out. All right. So what I love about the Victorian neckline is that it's feminine and it's also really modest. So that is something that really resonates with me. Okay. So this is from the late 1800s. All right. So remember, everything always recycles. So this look is back from the late 1800s. And in order to pull this off really well, something to keep in mind is you'll probably want to balance the vintage vibe with a clean silhouette to make it feel more modern. All right. So if you notice in the middle image there, she's got the lacy, the ruffles, the neckline, but then she's paired it with a very streamlined silhouette. Okay. And I say she like it was the model, but actually that was the Zimmerman runway. On the left, we have Tory Burch, and on the right, we had Kate. Okay. So just something to keep in mind is to implement the sweet and salty technique, which is something that I talk about a lot. It's about creating dynamic opposition in your outfit. So if you're going to go super feminine and make a statement with that, then balance it out with something maybe a little bit more masculine or something to help you feel more modern. All right. So now I'm going to share what I've got at home for my Victorian neckline. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I really do love this style, and I think it looks really great, like when you put it underneath a sweater. So instead of having a traditional collar, if you have a ruffled neck, I think that's really pretty and something that I love. So what's a little bit surprising is that I really don't have that many options to do this. So this is the top that I have here, and you'll see that it's got the ruffled neckline. All right. So this is obviously a very summery top that I have. And I have worn this underneath my sweaters before because, again, it creates a really nice neckline. So you are going to be seeing more and more of that this coming fall. But I also just want to point out that I saw a lot of these last winter as well. I think it's a really beautiful look, and it's something that you can consider if you gravitate towards more feminine or more modest styles. Okay. So let us move on to the next one, the next trend number 3 that I'm going to share with you today. And that is, here we go. It's over here. Let's close this. Let's bring this. I've got all my screens here. All right, so here we are going to talk about strong shoulders. All right, so this is so 80s. All right, and I know in the group I asked about what trend do you or what decade do you think had the worst style, and the 80s by far got the biggest response. People just did not like the 80s. I actually really like the kind of power dressing from the 80s. So here we have the runway looks from Rodarte, from Dries Van Noten, and from Balenciaga. All right. The look on the right from Balenciaga, that kind of reminds me of that Robert Palmer video back in the 80s. This is pretty severe. All right. So what's different about the strong shoulders of now than from the 80s is that it's more about having volume anywhere on the sleeve. Okay, so it's any type of puffy sleeve that will help you achieve this look. And what I love a lot about this look is, again, it's going to get you noticed. It's going to make a statement on any of your video calls. Okay, but it's also a really great styling trick to use if you carry most of your weight on the bottom. Then this is going to draw the eye up to your upper body. All right, so actually all the three trends that I've spoken about so far, the Victorian neckline and the statement collar, these are all going to draw the eye up. So these are really smart styling strategies to use when you want to downplay your lower body and you want people to pay more attention to your upper body. Okay, so that is why one of the reasons that I like the strong shoulders. So now let's take a look at how I am implementing that trend with what I already have. So I did no shopping for this. I know that a lot of videos, people, they go out and they get clothes that maybe aren't exactly theirs, and they're showing you these looks to represent the looks. I understand why they're doing it, but I really wanted to show you that these are probably trends that you already have. So I did zero shopping. I went to my closet and I said, okay, what do I have? So this is a strong shoulder top. And I know you can't really see it that much because it's black, but these are really padded. All right. So these are like kind of almost like, it's like, what is that? The shoulder pads that the football players would wear. I'm trying to get into the light so you can really see, but these are definitely a strong shoulder, this sweatshirt that I have. They've got some thick shoulder pads in there that I always have to, every time I put this sweatshirt on, I need to make sure that they're all straight and organized, that they're not like lopsided and weird. So this is my idea of implementing the strong shoulder trend, and it is with a sweatshirt that I actually bought last year. All right, so again, everything always comes back around. All right, so let us move on and let us look at what the next trend is. All right, so we are going to have a look at the fringe. All right, so fringe, so this is more reminiscent of the 20s. So it's that flapper dress style. Okay, so here's what I love about fringe. First of all, I love anything that's gonna feel kind of fun and that it's gonna add movement, and fringe always does that, okay? It feels fun and it adds movement to whatever you're wearing. So these are some looks from Ferragamo, from Prada, and from Gabriella Hearst, all right? So these are the different ways that they showed the fringe going down the runway. So here's my thoughts about integrating fringe as a trend. I personally prefer when it's not the dress or it's the whole skirt, all right? I actually did used to have a sweater that had some fringe on it, but I don't even have it anymore. I got rid of it. It was also not a good color for me at all. So that's another reason I got rid of it. I tried to dye it and then I ruined it. Anyways, I love the idea of integrating fringe into your wardrobe when it becomes this fun accent. So on accessories or the trim of a jacket or the trim or maybe the hem of a skirt has a little bit of fringe. So that is what I love. So just take a note at the image on the right, the Gabriella Hearst image. She's wearing that poncho with the fringe as the accent. So this is what I love. And now let's have a look at how I am going to integrate fringe this year. And to be totally honest, fringe is not something that I will probably integrate this year, okay? I was thinking about what do I have that is fringe, and I had these shoes, all right? So this is like little tiny fringe right here. Okay, so that's something, not much, right? Not really making a statement with my fringe here, but I do like it. I could have removed them and I didn't. I have cut fringes off of my scarves. So a lot of scarves come with fringes and I've actually cut them off, all right? Because I tend to gravitate towards a cleaner look. So that's my personal preference. But here is something that I do have that I think is really kind of crazy that I still have this now. But I have one of these ponchos. Can you believe this? This is like something that my grandmother made for me, and I used to wear this when I was a little girl, and it's kind of really stretched out right now. So if I wanted to do this Gabriella Hearst kind of vibe, the runway look that she had, I am all set, and I have all my fringes right there. So if I wanted to, I could definitely do this poncho thing. I'm not fully committed to it just yet, but I may try it because I do think it would be really fun to wear something that I had as a little girl. I remember when I was little, I used to actually braid the fringes. That was something that I used to love to do. All right, so we are moving on to our fifth and final trend, and I'm going to share the screen with you. And the fifth and final trend that is something that you will actually want to wear this season, makes a lot of sense for the current circumstances that we have right now, is colored leather. All right. So colored leather, what I love about colored leather is that it's colorful, right? I feel like we could all use some cheeriness in our lives these days. So normally leather comes in black. So it's nice to switch things up a little bit and add color. So these are some of the looks from Coach, from Lanvin, and from Ulla Johnson. Okay, so these are just a few different ways that they were implementing colored leather. All right, so here's my thoughts on how you can make this more wearable for you. All right, so it's a pretty edgy, full-on look, okay, to go with your bright red leather. I can't tell if that's a skirt on the Coach runway, or is that actually a pair of like gauchos? I think it's a skirt. Anyways, that's pretty full on. So I would suggest that you start a little bit smaller. And I think gloves are a really fun way to do that. On a side note, we did see a lot of gloves for fall 2020, not like winter gloves, but just wearing gloves. Also capes that we see here in the image from Lanvin. That's also, you're going to see a lot of capes, which is kind of like the poncho thing that I had. But so I think to implement some colored leather into your style, I think that using colorful gloves would be a really fun way to do it. Just start small, you know, even a colorful belt, you know, your accessories, handbags are also a really fun way to do that, okay? So now I'm gonna share what I have done with colorful leather. And again, I don't have much of that. So I do have a pair of these red shoes, okay? So there's those. And then I also have this jacket. I do have this leather jacket that's kind of this, what is this color? It's kind of like a yellowy, beigey kind of color. So I've had this jacket. It's like a sort of a moto style. I've had it for a long time. So I think you'll see a lot of leather jackets also that are in color, which again, the reason that I love it is it's a fun way to break out of black, the traditional black, okay? So those are some trends that are easy to wear right now with the current circumstances. But what I want to make really clear is that yes, wearing trends is fun and it definitely helps you feel current and with the times. But in order to truly have an incredible style that reflects you and makes you look your best, you need to nail down what your unique style is, right? You need to know what works best for you. So that reminds me, and that brings me to a client of mine who I recently worked with. When she came to me, when she first approached me, she told me that she really didn't have any style. She didn't know what her style was. And she was wearing what that image on the left, okay? And she told me that she never really thought much about what she wore. She didn't really know what looked good on her. And she just kind of settled for, she got a lot of things given to her. And then she just did thrift shopping. And when you do thrift shopping, the thing with that is I love it and it's great, but it's, you kind of take what you see, right? You can't always get the things that you want to get. So anyways, she came to me, she didn't really have a style, and then we worked together, and what we did was we found her style, right? We figured out what looks best on her body, what is going to highlight her in the most flattering way. And then we've created almost certain formulas for her. So that makes getting dressed easy and it gives her a signature. Is it reliant upon the trends? Absolutely not. But can it incorporate then? Can it incorporate the trends if she wants to have fun and to give little updates? Absolutely. So those are my thoughts about wearing trends. I think they're fun and I think they can help you feel more current, but what you really need to have an incredible style that flatters you and gives you true confidence and is consistent throughout the years is you need to know what your style is, okay? And if you would like some help with that, I definitely can help you that. In fact, help you with that. And I would love to. I would like to invite you to join me on a complimentary style clarity call where we will look at your style and we will figure out what is the best styles, what are the best silhouettes for you so that you can understand how to get dressed with ease and so that you always know that you're wearing the right thing, okay? So I'm going to pop the link in the comments here so that you have it and you can book your complimentary call. I look forward to speaking to you on the call. And that's it. Those are the trends that I wanted to share. And I hope you got some value and I hope you are feeling inspired and excited to get into the trends. I would love for you to type into the chat right now and tell me which of those do you think you already have in your closet. So that's going to be easy breezy for you to wear. Which are the ones that you're thinking like, maybe I'll go get one of those replaceable collar things, right? Which are the ones, maybe I'll go buy some colorful gloves. Tell me which are the ones that you think maybe you'll go shop around and see what you can find. I think I'm gonna get one of those replaceable collars because I tend to get really hot. So I think it's a really smart solution so you don't get so overheated and, it's one less layer. So, and I think, like I said earlier, it's a really great way to just update your sweaters and make them feel fresh. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back here next week for Live at 5, and I will see you in the group all throughout the week. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.